Hello. Welcome back to Slow English Practice. Good to have you here. Last episode, Daniel told us about two mistakes that his team discovered during user testing. A payment that was sent twice, and buttons that were too close together on small screens. Today is part 2. Two more mistakes. Both of them are about something that is easy to overlook when you are too close to your own product. Let's find out what they were. The first one is about a feature that existed, but that almost nobody knew about. We were working on an analytics dashboard. The team had built a graph that showed data over time. In the original version, users could only select a time period from a drop-down menu. Options like last 7 days, last 30 days, or last 90 days. At some point, the development team added a new capability. Users could now select a custom time period directly on the graph by clicking and dragging across it to highlight exactly the range they wanted to see. It was a powerful feature. It took the team about a week to build, but when they released it, they added no tooltip, no announcement, and no visual hint that this was possible. The graph looked exactly the same as before. There was nothing to suggest that clicking and dragging on it would do anything. We ran a user test a few weeks after the release. We asked 5 participants to explore the dashboard and find data for a specific custom date range. All 5 of them went straight to the drop-down menu. None of them tried clicking on the graph. At the end of the session, the moderator asked, "Did you know that you can select a date range directly on the graph by clicking and dragging?" All 5 participants said no. One of them said, "I had no idea that was possible. Why didn't anyone tell me?" That question stayed with me. Why didn't anyone tell me? After the test, we added a small tooltip that appeared the first time a user opened the dashboard. It said, "Select any date range directly on the graph." And it showed a short animated illustration of the click and drag gesture. Usage of the feature increased significantly within the first 2 weeks. The lesson from this story is something that teams often forget when they release updates. When you add something new to an interface, you need to tell the users that it is there. A new feature that nobody knows about is the same as a feature that does not exist. That was the first story. Now let's move to the second one. This story is shorter, but in some ways, it is even more important. We were building a platform for teams to manage their projects. In the project settings, there was a visibility toggle. On one side, it said public. On the other side, it said private. The intention was straightforward. Public meant that the project was visible to all members of the organization on the platform. Private meant that only the people specifically invited to the project could see it. During the user test, we asked participants to set up a new project and configure its settings. We did not explain what public and private meant. We just watched what they did. What we saw was surprising. About half of the participants chose private immediately, without hesitation. When we asked them why, several of them said something similar. "I don't want anyone outside the company to see our internal data." They thought that public meant accessible to the entire internet, not just to other members of their organization. For them, the word public carried a level of risk that the team never intended. And because of that fear, they were hiding their projects from colleagues who should have been able to see them. The fix was not complicated. We kept the two options, but under each label, we added a single short line of explanation. Under public, we wrote, "Visible to all members of your organization." Under private, we wrote, "Visible only to invited members." After this change, the confusion disappeared. Users chose the option that matched their actual intention, not their fear. One word without context can mean completely different things to different people. This is why the words in an interface are just as important as the layout, the colors, and the buttons. Phrase note: UX writing. UX writing is the practice of choosing the right words for buttons, labels, messages, and instructions in an interface. Good UX writing makes the interface feel clear and safe. Bad UX writing, even in a well-designed interface, can confuse or worry the user. Both of these mistakes came from the same place. The team knew the product too well. They knew what the feature did, so they did not think to explain it. They knew what public meant in their system, so they did not think it could be misunderstood. When you are too close to something, you stop seeing it the way a new person would. That is exactly why testing with real users matters. Not once, not at the end of the project, but regularly, throughout the whole process. If these stories helped you practice your English, hit the like button. It means a lot. And subscribe if you want more case studies like these. Your homework today. Think about something you use every day. An app, a tool, or a website. Is there a feature that you discovered only after a long time? Or a word or label that confused you at first? Try to describe it in English. Great job today. I'll see you in the next episode.